Welcome to the Winslow Township Board meeting for tonight, April 9th, 2025, where academics and winning is done on a high level. Public notice of this meeting was given to all board members and associates in a notice dated 1/9/2025. Adequate and electronic notice of this public meeting was provided specifying the time, place, and manner in which this meeting is being conducted. It was advertised in the Courier Post, posted in all schools, the administration office, the municipal building, the library, the Bud Dubel Center, Edgewood Acres, Town, and the Winslow Township Post Office. And our mission statement is the mission of the Winslow Township School District, a large, diverse, and growing community, is to educate all students to become independent, lifelong learners, critical thinkers, and caring and confident members of their community. The district, in partnership with the community and in a climate of cooperation and mutual respect, will provide an academic environment which values excellence and diversity, encourages students to strive for personal excellence, and assists them in acquiring the knowledge, skills, attitudes necessary to contribute positively to a rapid changing world. Roll call.
Mr. Clark.
Here.
Ms. Dredden.
Here.
Ms. Lloyd.
Present.
Ms. Martin. Present. Mr. McManus.
Good evening.
Ms. Peterson.
Present.
Ms. Pitts.
Ms. Pitts will be absent today.
Thank you. Mr. Thomas
Present.
and Mr. Shaw.
Mr. Shaw will be absent today.
Thank you.
Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good. 2024-2025 district goals. Number one, student achievement. Continue to implement best practices for delivering instruction to students. This shall include A, conduct weekly administrative walkthroughs to monitor teaching and learning. B, consistently review student assessment data to guide and redirect teaching. C, continue to provide supplemental activities, for example, tutoring, enrichment periods, to address student deficiencies. D, benchmark assessment for 9th grade math and language arts. Number 2, create a safe and positive learning environment for students and staff. A, strictly enforce the district's student code of conduct. B, focus on upper elementary school students to modify student behavior in the early grades. C, reinforce positive behavior in a specific and genuine way. D, approach discipline with care, respect, and the desire to see the good in all students. Number 3, increase parent, caregiver, and community engagement in education. A, provide opportunities for two-way communication with district stakeholders. B, continue with communications consortium. C, focus on refining our communication methods and messages to better market our schools. D, continue with our public relations with the community.
Well read there, Mr. Clark. Will there be any awards and presentations tonight?
Mr. President, we do not have any presentations this evening.
However, I do have a item I would like to read. We, as you well know, we are now advocating for the renaming of our wonderful track and field. At this point in time, we're not voting on or for. We just want to involve the community and the stakeholders to be part of this process in any way. So what we have done, we posted on the website for your comments and concerns on this topic. We now have 3 individuals that was considerations. We previously got a letter from a Mr. Robert Johnson who was naming a Mr. Dennis Mitchell as a candidate. We also got a letter from Miss Marcy Tomasello who was naming Russell Bates as a candidate. And I just received a letter on Tuesday, April 1st, 2025, from Mr. Harold Smith, Edgewood grad, recommending Shanika Brown. I would like the board to make a motion that now that we have 3 names that could be considered once, we're not asking for any vote nay or yay, we're just asking to close nominations so we can begin a conversation to discuss in which capacity and which way we will go. If that's okay with the board, I'd like to ask for a motion to close the nomination for renaming the athletic field.
Motion to close the nomination for renaming the athletic field. Mr. Clark.
Second.
I got a motion made by Mr. Clark, and I got a second by Ms. Dredden. Any questions, comments?
Yes. I think that we should close it out because it hasn't really given the community enough time to really even make any nominations for any other names for the field and closing it out limits. The community and the stakeholders and shareholders from being really truly a part of naming this field. Because it came to my attention that some people, instead of naming it a name, they said, why couldn't we name it Edgewood Legacy Sports Complex? So it doesn't single out any single person. It actually includes all of the legacies from the Edgewood era and bringing it towards us. So not letting the community come in and give other nominations prior to this coming up from last meeting, I think is unfair to the community.
Point of order. With a nomination of a second, I think that requires a vote. We can say no to it or just table it for another. Would that be correct?
You have a motion and a second. Now it's time for comment. Appropriately, it's been tossed to the board by the vice president for comment, which we are now receiving.
Okay.
After this, we will proceed with a roll call vote on whether we're closing the nominations with the 3 names that Mr. Thomas has announced earlier.
So here's where my question, and I do agree with Ms. Claude that I do like that Edgewood aspect to it. But here's my question. So now that this has been on the table since November of 2024 from the previous board president who diligently put a committee together, and we're carrying out the policies and the procedures of that role. And all we're doing now is trying to make sure that we fall in line with the process and the procedure. Now, you can still come in, it'll be posted up till June, so you got till June to come in and make every comment for, against, or whatever suggestion at that point. So what I am just seeking for now is a vote that we can have this conversation with communication and not really make a decision on which way this is going, just to be able to have a conversation with the community. So can we get any more questions or comments before we go to a roll call vote?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
So what you suggested on the asking for the motion, it asked to have those three names, Mr. Mitchell, Mr. Bates, and Ms. Brown as the nominees. That closes off any nominations for the future. Am I correct?
Yes, yes, it does.
And that's what I'm trying not to let happen.
So would you be okay if we leave it open for another month?
Yes.
Okay. So can we amend that motion asking that we close the nomination and give it a 30-day from today for anyone that wants to put in a new nomination or any other conversation about this subject? Can I get a motion?
No, a question.
Go ahead.
You cannot close nominations. You're asking just to extend the deadline date.
Extend it, right.
And
Exactly.
essentially, you were closing them effective 1 month from today.
But that's
With no
extension.
further action required, but it will require an amendment to the original motion and a second.
But it has to be that it's extension of the date. It's not where it couldn't bring in other discussions like what the board member had indicated. So,
Somebody in the next 30 days can make a nomination
Right.
at a fourth person or idea.
yes,
Yes.
Yes.
that should be the motion.
So are we closing the original motion?
No, we would ask whether or not there's,
One amendment.
whoever, was it you, Mr. Clark?
Yes, sir.
Are you inclined to amend your motion? Sure. And was it you, Ms. Dredden? Are you inclined to second that amendment?
Yes.
Okay, so we have before us on the table, a motion to approve the closing of the nominations 30 days from today, which would be somewhere around May 8th, I think.
Correct.
Roll call?
Mr. Clark,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Claude,
Yes.
Ms. Martin. Yes. Mr. McManus,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
and Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Motion has carried.
What is the date of our next board meeting? So to clarify, the first meeting in May, would you bring that? I mean, it probably will be, what's the date of our first meeting in May?
14.
Okay,
Seventh.
but at 14.
You want to close it?
Well, at this one, I mean, you still use your 30 days, but at 14, that's when you want to
Okay.
take your vote to
Okay,
close it
that's
out and
fine.
move forward.
That's fine. That's fine. All right, we're gonna move on to the agenda to number 7. Will there be any correspondence for tonight?
Yes, Mr. Vice President, I just had it in my hand. Yes, we have one piece of correspondence we'd like to read.
Sure.
It reads, "Good evening, Dr. Potteet, my fellow board members, administration, staff, and all stakeholders in our district. First, I would like to apologize for my absence from tonight's meeting, but while work pulled me away from Winslow this week, my heart needs to address something everyone in Winslow and our entire state should know. We all love sports, and all of Winslow Township's countless championships and accolades. But today, we need to celebrate our arts, theater, music departments, and the many accomplishments they deliver. Recently, many of us have had the pleasure of sitting in the Sarah Gordy Auditorium at the Winslow Township High School and watch, or should I say be downright awestruck by the performances of a diverse cast of players whose talent just left you constantly catching your breath or giving them a huge ovation. You cannot find this diversity in talent in most school districts, and yet Winslow does it year after year. Winslow Township students bring more than athletic talent. They are theatrical all-stars, championship marching bands, and all-state or all-South Jersey chorus members, and they all start in our lower elementary schools. Come check them out. You will never be disappointed. And this is from Mr. John Shaw, President of the Board of Education.
Great letter from our president, Mr. Shaw. We should have had him on the screen and did a virtual thing so he could come in for that. Great letter, and I agree totally with that. So we're gonna move on to our minutes. I am seeking a motion to approve our regular meeting minutes of March 26, 2025, open session.
Peterson move for approval of our March 26, 2025 open session.
Open and closed.
Oh, open and closed.
Can I get a second?
Second, McManus, to approve the minutes for the regular meeting and the closed session meeting from March 26th.
Okay, moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Mr. McManus. Any questions, comments? Roll call?
Mr. Clark,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Lloyd,
Yes.
Ms. Martin? Yes. Mr. McManus,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
And Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
The motion has carried.
Thank you. Moving down to our board committee reports. Would there be any reports from our athletic committee? Not at this time. Thank you. Would there be any reports from our citizens advisory committee?
Not at this time.
Thank you, Ms. Martin. Would there be any report from our education committee?
Yes, the Education Committee will meet on the last Tuesday of this month at 4 p.m. via WebEx.
Thank you very much. Would there be any report from our illustrious marketing committee?
Why, yes, Mr. Acting Chair, President King. Marketing Committee convened on March 29th, 2025, and attendance was one. Then Vice President of the school board, Mr. Winslow Thomas, and one Jared, better known as Jerry McManus. We began at 1:45 p.m. Discussion centered around the marketing committee believes in an effort to continue to reach out to the entire community and make sure that the board itself visible. The board should be represented at the upcoming Juneteenth celebration. The fifth annual Juneteenth Festival in Winslow Township will be held on Saturday, June 14th, 2025 at 1300 Winslow Avenue, offering a day of celebration, music, food, and community honoring the end of slavery in the United States. We should set up our tent and be staffed by board members. Board members, I tried to draft Michael Clark. This is an editorial to my notes here. Mr. Clark is going to be best man at a wedding that particular day, so I couldn't draft him. But myself, I'll be there for the entire day to greet the community, and I would invite the rest of the board members as they see fit to come and join me. I'm hoping to, I'll have the mini waters and maybe some breath mints because I drink a lot of coffee. And what else we got? Meeting ended at 12:15 p.m. Next meeting is scheduled for the 19th of April, 1:30 p.m. At the McManus House with, rumor has it, a cream cheese pound cake.
Any questions for our Mr. McManus, chairperson of the marketing committee?
Yes, I have a question.
Sure.
This Juneteenth festival who's sponsoring that?
It's
In the
usually
past,
sponsored
we
by the
have
township.
usually done that, and we actually set up our own day.
No, I'm saying, is this the Winslow Township Juneteenth?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, so let me correct the information on it then.
okay.
All right, it's the 4th annual Juneteenth festival. It's going to be held at New Brooklyn Park on Saturday, the 21st, June 21st, from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Really?
Good
Yes.
The information online was incorrect then. Okay, Saturday, the 14th or the 21st, you said?
It's the 21st.
Thank
of
you.
June. Yes.
And can we also make sure, Dr. Poteet, that we have all the instruments that comes along with the tents? The
We've been doing it so often.
The eagle.
It's,
Can we get the eagle?
sure, as long as it's not 95 degrees.
Okay, good. Thank you there, Mr. McManus, for your illustrious report. Will there be any report from our negotiations committee?
No report.
None tonight, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
How about our operations committee? Any report from our operations committee?
None at this time.
Any report from our policy HR committee?
No report.
All right, thank you. We're gonna move down over to page 3. I'm asking for a motion to approve our superintendent report that starts on top of page 3, number 10, and goes all the way to the middle of page 7. Can I get a motion to approve that superintendent report?
Peterson move for approval of the superintendent's report, recommends approval of the following items, A and B, 1 through 27, found on page 3 through 7.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
Can I get a question?
Yeah, for the second.
Okay, McManus would second that pending questions.
Okay,
No.
moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Mr. McManus. Any questions?
Sir,
Yes.
Superintendent's report, page 5, number 18. There's an anti-bullying assembly scheduled for the 29th of April from, I believe, 9:30 to 10:30. Is that attendable by school board members?
In most cases, the building, the board member that is assigned to that school, in most cases, yes, that person would attend. But usually these assemblies are targeted for the students.
Right.
And hopefully we'll be able to address whatever kinds of concerns they may have at the time. But the person who's assigned to the building, I don't think that would be a problem.
To the person who's assigned to the building?
Yes, who's assigned to school 6?
Ms. Brown.
With school board members.
No,
School board.
school board member is assigned to school 6.
At our reorg, everyone
Board
selects a
representative.
school. I
Yeah.
don't recall
Is it
who
you?
did that one.
Ms. Dredden. Ms. Dredden.
And maybe one of our absentee folks.
That's fine.
Oh, maybe Ms. Pitts.
It could be Miss,
Could be.
could be Mrs. Smith.
Or it could be Ms. Pitts.
No, she's the early child.
But board members
By Mr.
don't
Shaw.
remember who's assigned. But anyway, Mr. McManus, whoever's assigned to school 6
Thank you,
is
Doctor.
more than happy to attend.
Thank you. Second question that I have, page 6, number 23, pen relays.
Yes,
Is that a networking event or is that just for the, I know that it's the pen relays. I didn't know if that, as Ms. Lane being the athletic director, that would also be a networking event?
well, not necessarily networking. We attend the Penn Relays every year for as long as I can remember. We usually have girls and boys participating. The athletic director, along with the coaches, usually go along with them. In this case, the athletic director pretty much want us to know that she will be participating, but normally just the coaches and athletes would go.
Okay, no further questions. Thank you.
And I want to add to that, I can say that we are a favorite at that relay. So moving right along, can we get a vote on the acceptance of the superintendent's report?
Mr. Clark,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Claude,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. McManus,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
and Mr. Thomas.
Yes,
Motion has carried.
thank you very much. Now I'm looking for a motion to accept the business administrator's report that starts at the bottom of page 7 and goes all the way to the middle of page 13.
Peterson moves for approval of the Business Administrative Board Secretary's report, A and B, page 7 through 13.
Can I get a second?
McManus, second that?
I moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Mr. McManus. Any questions?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Report, page 8, number 8. There is a list of items that were to be disposed of. Is this through ordinary wear and tear or vandalism?
Wear and tear.
Wear
A
and
lot
tear.
of this is old materials at this point, beyond their useful life, so we just discard.
Okay.
And
Thank
this
you.
is a common practice to list, we have to specifically list them under this law before they can be disposed of.
Okay, thank you. And then if I could ask one other question?
Sure,
On the bill list, page 8, 6, I believe, I'm gonna say, I'm not sure if it's either A or B. There's an individual check made out to World Class Vacations to the tone of $40,000.
I believe that's a student activity check. I'm gonna look at it, but it's for the senior class trip.
Okay,
And that's the cost. That's a partial cost. It's not the full cost.
Is any amount of that being reimbursed by any of the students? Or is that the school district paying for that senior?
No. And let me pull, because I just want to make certain, Mr. McManus, I don't want to shoot from the hip.
What page was that, Mr. McManus?
That was on, it was on the
Scroll down.
board's secretary's report. Okay. It was, I can dig it up for you real quick.
It's due next The Disney, yeah.
Did you want to give the specifics, Dr. Carcamo?
Yeah.
Mr. McManus, Dr. Carcamo can give you the particulars.
Thank you.
That's the organization that we go through planning the senior trip to Disney World.
Okay,
So the trip is paid for by the student. So
okay.
the account is a student activity account, the money is deposited there, and then the check written by the board to the company.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Doctor.
Okay, thank you very much. Can we get a roll call?
Mr. Vice President, page 11, number 14,
Which one on 14?
page 11,
Yes.
number 14, the competitive contract request for proposal for internet service. I just need some clarification. Is that to improve the services that we currently have or to replace them?
That is to, we put out a bid, a competitive contracting bid. This was the loan provider that responded to the bid.
Okay,
I believe it's the one that we currently have. And I also, and I think we had discussed this during the operations committee, we only awarded for a year with the option to renew. So that way, we have time to do the audit and see
Okay.
what comes up.
okay,
So if they say that this vendor is an issue, we'll deal with them for a year and then we'll do what we need to do. If they say, then we can renew.
okay. Thank you.
All clear?
Yes.
Outstanding. Roll call?
Mr. Clark,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Claude,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. McManus,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
and Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
The motion has carried.
Thank you so much. We're now at the page of 13 in the middle, number 12, our personnel report that starts in the middle of page 13, goes all the way over to the top of page 15. Can I get a motion?
Peterson move for approval of the superintendent recommendation of the following items that are found under personnel, number 1 through 6, page 13 and 14.
1 through 6.
Yeah.
Can I get a second?
Second, McManus?
Moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Mr. McAnnis. Any questions?
Mr. President, it was brought to my attention that there is an incorrect date on, Mr. Davis.
Number 2, it should say 25, 26 new hires. It says it in the body of the heading. It should be 25, 26.
So moving forward with that amendment, we can proceed with the roll call if there's no other comments. Mr. Vice President.
Fine. Just what Mr. Long said, moving forward with that amendment, we can proceed with the roll call if there's no other comments. Roll call vote, please.
Did we get the motion?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Clark,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Claude,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. McManus,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson.
Yes.
And Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Motion has carried.
Now we're moving over to our addendum. It's the pink slip that we have been placed in our folders. It's a one-page addendum, beginning with number 1 and going all the way through that number 1 page. Can I get a motion?
Peterson move for approval of the business administrative board secretary report that approves the following action items under A 1 through 4.
Second,
Second, McManus?
moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Mr. McManus. Any questions? Roll call?
Mr. Clark,
Yes.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Claude,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. McManus,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
and Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Motion has carried.
We're moving right along now. We down to the open public Records Act and request. Is there any open public action records and or requests?
I believe not. So we had none that we responded to during this time frame.
Outstanding. Thank you so much. Dr. Potteet, will there be any informational items tonight?
Yes, yes. Mr. Thomas, members of the board and community, I have a few information items for this evening. First of all, as you well know, we have been discussing the possibility of providing one-to-one Chromebooks for the high school and the middle school. So I'd like to give you an update. The high school would need 902 Chromebooks, and let me explain why. 410 are beyond their useful life. 492 have one more year of life or useful life. So rather than just get just enough and for us to accommodate all of the students, we would be recommending that 902 Chromebooks be provided for the high school. The middle school only needs 200 Chromebooks. With those totals at each school, we will be able to provide one-to-one Chromebook to each child, and with a useful life that would extend 2 to 3 years. Now, at the middle school, they have 600 plus Chromebooks now, but I think a few of them is maybe 1 year away from their useful life. But Mr. Shropshire said 200 would be his number at this point. So that brings us up to where we are. And of course, it will be up to the board to decide in which direction you want to go. Keep in mind that in as much as you have enough for one-to-one, you always need some additional Chromebooks in the event someone breaks theirs or someone forgets to bring it to school. You want to make sure you have enough Chromebooks so it doesn't interrupt with instruction. All right? Any questions in reference to that update?
I'd just like to say thanks for getting that information. I know the board has been trying to get that information for a while. I'd like to thank you and the administration for providing. Any more questions or comments or informational items for anyone?
Doctor,
Yes, sir.
was there a dollar value attached to that?
No, at this point, if you want to move forward, then, we can attach a dollar amount to each school. That's not anything difficult. It won't take that much time. We can get a dollar value to you. That's not a problem at all.
And then if I have my math correct, you're looking at like plus or minus 1,100 units?
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
And again, keeping in mind that you don't want to just purchase to the number. You always want to get some additional ones so you can have additional Chromebooks on.
Just in case.
Yes.
And is that for them to keep or is it?
For them to have, that will be their Chromebook based on the recommendation for them to take back and forth home with them.
So at the end of the year, what happens?
They return them so that they can either be repaired, replaced, recharged, cleaned, because you want to make sure they're usable beyond next year. So what we would do is assign them the same Chromebook the following year. So if they're in 9th grade, when they come back, 10th grade, they get the same Chromebook.
Oh, they get their, I'm sorry if I'm out of turn. They get that exact same
Yes,
Chromebook
sir.
that they used before.
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
yes, it's only fair that they maintain the same one.
Yeah.
Because if I'm really taking care of mine, then I want to make sure I get the same one back the following year. All right? The next update I would like to give you, as you have directed me to move forward with securing a technology audit. We have a possible vendor through our co-op. We are waiting for some documents to be completed. And at this point, once that is done, we ask that that vendor come before this board and give a presentation on the scope of work so that we're all on the same page. And at that time, of course, we'll be able to move forward with some finalizing everything that needs to be done. So at this point, once we get all the paperwork that we are requesting, then we'll move forward and we will have the vendor to come before the board to give you an update on what they're doing, why they're doing it, that sort of thing. So everybody would understand what's happening from that point on.
Okay, and this is the vent, if I may, this vendor is going to define the scope of what needs to be done?
Based on the information we have provided them, what they have come into the district and do their own assessment
Right.
in addition to what our needs are. And then based on that information, they will compile an assessment or scope of work to review with the board. And hopefully, they'll give us an estimated cost of how much that assessment would be once it's completed.
Thank you.
All right. Earlier in the school year, members of the board, you may recall that I had recommended that we initiate girls volleyball at the middle school. Do you remember that conversation? I would like to continue to put that before you in order for us to get all the equipment and the stands and coaches, pay for referees. We're looking at $8,200. So I just want to keep that in front of you because I think that is something that is needed, that we continue to expand our offerings at the middle school. So I just want to remind you of that particular recommendation. Okay?
I have a question.
Yes.
In regard to the recommendation for the volleyball, is that something that was being requested highly from the middle school students, so that if we do move forward to make a motion for this, that it would be something that we can have a successful program for them?
Oh, absolutely. There are a couple of things. Yes, we need to put as many athletic programs and clubs in the middle school as possible because they don't have enough. Plus, the volleyball program at the high school is doing very, very well, but we don't have a feeder system.
Awesome.
It's not in place, so we can start preparing our young ladies early on. They can move into the high school with some skill set to help the program to grow. So that would be the primary reason for the recommendation. All right?
That would, if you don't mind me asking,
Sure.
making a statement, I think that would just increase Winslow winning with a.
Absolutely.
With a,
Well, we would like, and more importantly, the middle school needs some additional activities.
Yeah.
And I think that would be one that will give the young ladies an opportunity to participate.
Cool.
All right. I also have one more recommendation. And again, this is just a recommendation. I would like to reinstate field trips to all of our schools. It's been a long time since we've invested money into our schools for field trips. Our young people, and with the conversations I've had with the building principals and teachers, would like for the school district to invest some monies into the schools so that our children can go on field trips. And basically set it up, for example, the kindergartners every year will, let's say, go to Philadelphia Institute of Arts or something. The first grade will go somewhere else, the third grade, that way we don't duplicate the trips. But every year, the young people will have an opportunity, knowing that when I get in the third grade, we're going to go to the art museum or Fields Planetarium or whatever it may be. The teachers have made it very clear that we miss that. The young people haven't had, and on the other hand, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of our young people can't afford to go on these trips, and we hate to just take a handful of young people who families can afford and leave all the other young people behind. So I think we're at the point where we need to invest more into our children as far as field trips are concerned. It's been a long time. I think it's time to reinstate. All right. And my last information item, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to personally, on behalf of the administration and the board, to congratulate Daniel Asa, 11th grade student at Winslow Township High School, for winning first place in the C-SPAN student documentary competition.
Wow.
He won the high school Eastern Division for his documentary, Saving Sudan, U.S. Aiding in the Forgotten Crisis. Mr. Asa, now this is a national award. Last year, as a 10th grader, he also won a national award. If for those of you who went to the play, Daniel Asa was portrayed one of the husbands doing Mamma Mia, and he was the shorter of the three. Excellent job.
Yes.
Very intelligent, very talented young man. He has represented Winslow Township School District, the high school in this community, on a national scale for years. And this is a very bright young man. As a matter of fact, comes from a very bright family. He has a young sister who has also been able to establish herself academically. So we want to again thank Daniel Asa for representing the school district in this community in the best possible way. The high school has his documentary on their website. I will post his documentary on the district's website and Facebook page tomorrow. But I wanted to let you know, very intelligent, very non-assuming, don't want a lot of fanfare. But I told him that we need to celebrate him and his family for what he's been able to do. And I am going to assume at this point that this young man is going to continue to represent the school district, this community in the best possible way. So congratulations, Daniel Asa, for a job well done. That concludes my information items, Mr. Thomas, for this evening.
Thank you there, Dr. Poteet. Moving now, we really appreciate that. Moving now to old business. Will there be any items on the old business?
Mr. Vice President, could I make a comment?
Sure.
Thank you. Hot off the presses from a Las Vegas business trip, Mr. Shaw has school 6 and is apparently watching us.
Okay. Well, I can appreciate that because the silence got me a little puzzled. Okay.
Mr. Shaw
That
is
makes
loud
sense.
and clear through
Yes.
from Las Vegas.
That
Why
makes
he's
sense.
watching us
Yeah.
and he's in Las Vegas, that's for another time.
All right.
So
Thank
no,
you.
so no business on the, so how about new business? Any information? on
Yes.
that?
Mr. President, I
Sure.
want to place a motion on the floor. Peters moves that the board demonstrate their endorsement of continuing to support our District Goal 3 through providing the educational and emotional support. And now the board members individually and collectively provide financial support of the Lewis Johnson family, of which 3 of their children are students here at here at Winslow Township. The 4th is an infant who these 4 children lost both parents almost 3 weeks ago. So if the board pleasure, if they would like to make a financial contribution to the family.
I second that motion. Any questions?
Just the amount,
The amount could be whatever moves you
whatever moves us.
individually. I did have one former board member that texted me today, and she wants to contribute too, and that's Miss Cindy Moore.
Now, Mrs. Peterson, are you asking that we present that money to you? I mean, how are we?
If you
to
would
do this?
like, and then I can get a gift card and we can count the money up and get a gift card. If those that do not have cash, they can give me a check and I'll present it to the family. And I would ask that board member Wanda Claude go with me to present it. Thank you so much, Ms. Claude.
Thank you. All in favor of this endeavor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. Now we're moving to public.
Mr. President, I'd
Yes.
like to say something in
Go
new
ahead.
business. I wanted to say I went to the play Mamma Mia. It was excellent, superb. You can ask for no better actresses and actors and singers. I enjoy them all, but I enjoyed it. It had me laughing, it had me sad. It just was an excellent, excellent play. And you can ask for no better. I mean, everyone should come. They're like professionals. We have the greatest theater plays that you can present. I really think they should do a play outside of our school district because that's how good they are. So I just want to commend them and all they do. And I want to commend the ones that are teaching, the ones that's in the musical part of it all, the ones that are teaching them how to dance and how to act. I commend them all. They all deserve, really, they deserve the greatest praise we can give them.
Thank you, Mr. Ed. We
After.
appreciate that testimony. Now moving to public comments.
Mr.
Thank you,
Vice
Madam.
President,
Hold on. Yes.
Ms. Ford would like to revisit informational items. Number one.
Yes, I'd like to revisit the informational items that were presented by Dr. Potteet. I'd like to make a motion, for the first motion I'd like to make is that he's able to go ahead and move forward to get us the price so that he can present the price for the one-on-one technology for the 1,102 Chromebooks for the students so that we can look at this so we can be prepared for the 2025-26 school year. That's my first motion.
I'll second that motion.
And that's an all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, my second motion I'd like to make is that we go ahead and reinstate the field trips for all schools.
I can second that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
May I just interject one statement?
Sure.
Would not interfere with what has already taken place. The amount would be based on size of school. Of course, high school, middle school would get more than school 1 and 2 because of numbers. So, but we haven't established how much that would be. What we would like to do is have teacher input, like where would you like to take the first graders, third graders, how much that would potentially cost. And then I would be able to come back and say, school 1, X number of dollars, school 2, 3, up through the high school. And I do sincerely mean the high school. Those young people still also deserve to go on field trips because most of them are educationally inclined and they need to get out and get that exposure. And a lot of them, the only way it's going to happen is through the school district. So whatever we're able to come up with an amount that we can attach to each school, I'll be able to present that to you.
Outstanding.
But I appreciate your support. Thank you.
And my next one, I'd like to make a motion that we support moving forward with the girls volleyball at the middle school.
I can second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, have it.
Thank you.
Doctor, if I may.
Yes, please.
Just a question regarding the individual field trips. As
Yes.
far as a per event, the cost, that is brought before the board for approval?
Yes,
All right, thank you.
yes, the amounts.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
Any more? Any more questions? All right, we're gonna move to public comments.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. The Winslow Township Board of Education highly values the input of citizens in making important decisions that affect the children of our community. We also believe in the rights of citizens to observe board meetings. To ensure that all of our citizens have the opportunity to attend school board meetings and offer comment, and to assure that the board can conduct the important business of the district, we'd ask that the speakers follow the guidelines for making public comments. The board secretary will recognize those individuals in the audience who wish to make comment, and we'd ask that you kindly respect the following procedures. 1, all members of the public attending school board meetings must treat each other and the board with respect. 2, please state your full name and town of residence. 3, please limit your comments to 4 minutes. 4, submit your questions in the event we're unable to answer them this evening to the board with your name, address, telephone number, and preferably email address where you can be contacted, and your questions will be answered within a reasonable time frame. And lastly, individuals offering citizen comment are not permitted to make personal attacks on any district employee, board member, or other testifier or member of the public.
Thank you. At this time, I'm looking for a motion to open up public comments.
Peterson move for approval to open public comments.
Second by McManus.
Moved by Peterson, second by Ms. Manis. All in favor?
Aye.
Ms. Paul, do we have anyone on the list at this time?
Yes, we have Debbie Murphy.
Good evening, board members. I'm Debbie Murphy and I live in Sippaville. So the marching band competed on Sunday at Williamstown. The band placed first with a score of 75.5 and the guard placed second with a score of 85.6. And so again, we're winning, so we're still winning. There's only 2 more local competitions before we head off to the championships in Wildwood. So you guys have a couple more chances to come see our show because we're really doing good things. We compete Saturday at Gateway. The band performs at 12:10 and the guard goes on at 5. And then another thing, have you guys looked at a lacrosse team for the middle school? I feel that it would be popular. So,
No, we have not, and, Ms. Murphy, I think, we take it one step at a time.
okay,
Maybe we can reconsider and look at that for next year. So I think if we do one at a time, make sure it's affordable and do it right the first time, maybe next year we can look at that. But I think the idea is great because we believe the better program we provide at the middle school is going to enhance what we do at the high school. And most of those sports, we do not have a feeder system. The young ladies and young men are going into the high school, and those non-traditional sports, let's say in 9th grade, playing it for the first time. And when they're in that situation, we're not very successful. So it would be my recommendation that we consider it the following year so that we can eventually at some point touch all of it. So
okay,
recommendation will take.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I believe it's Shanna Walker.
It's Shima, but my question was answered in the agenda, so thank you.
Okay. Patrick Oates.
Good evening, board members. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I'm a proud graduate of Edgewood.
Edgewood.
That's it. I think I know you too. Back in 1983. So, and the board in general, I thank you for giving people their flowers. That was the saying for mother. Give people while their flowers while they're living, so they can do that. So let me work backwards. Speaking of that, Ms. Peterson, you talked about for the board members. What's the possibility, because my heart just went out when you said that, maybe setting up a GoFundMe page or someone to do that so local community members can contribute to that?
So you just mentioned that, they are actually the village of Camden County. They're setting up, a distribute, if you want to contribute a gift card or whatever. And I can't remember the barbershop.
So we're doing, the Village of Camden County is doing a gift card fundraiser for every Friday and Saturday drop off at the R Barbershop. If you need more information after the meeting is over with, I can give you the contact number of the person that if you want to contact, if you want to drop it off prior. But every Friday from 5 to 8, you can drop it off at the R Barbershop in the Winslow Center, or Saturday morning from 8 to 11, you can drop off a gift card. It's all just gift cards. We're just asking for gift cards. That way the family can use those gift cards throughout the year for the kids for all their needs. I have actually worked with a lot of community organizations in our community of Winslow. And when I tell you we're coming together as a major village for this family, we are. We just, Mario Parte of the Pantry of Sicklerville, he's working with his suppliers, and we're gonna make sure this family is 100% taken care of. And every year, the Village of Camden County is gonna do a major fundraiser for this family, because this is not just today. It's gonna be until that baby is 18 years old. And that baby's only 8 months old right now. So we're gonna make sure that we cover the expenses or do things for this family as much as we can. And we'll do it for any other families if any tragedies happen like this as well. But there is a gift card fundraiser every Friday and Saturday. You can drop it off at the R Barbershop up until the end of April. That gives everybody.
Delta Sigma Theta, New Jersey Garden City alumni is collecting. They gave us a listing of what they needed. And we have a location in Stone Hollow, and that Denise, Crystal Johnson will be picking up, or we're gonna need a truck to move it.
Okay, thank you for that. That's a great organization that you're talking about. So that was the one. The second thing about the naming of the field. So I'm a proud Edgewood graduate. So has the board thought about maybe a shared responsibility for the field? Like, for instance, I used to run track, played basketball for Edgewood. Right where the Tractor Supply is in Berlin, we used to run from here to there. Years ago, it was called the Chicken Burger. I don't know if anybody remembers that or not. But we used to run track, and I say that as Mr. Bates was a hard driver, but he taught us a lot of responsibility as young men and women. And from his teaching and leadership, produced a lot of good athletes and business folks such as myself. And my suggestion is maybe name it Batesville, name the track Mitchell Way, maybe some type of shared responsibility so they both can get credit. And if you want to throw Edgewood in there, make it Edgewood Lane as you go to the track or something. That way we can incorporate all the things. So that's one. And then the last thing, this is for Dr. Poteet, as you were talking about the 101 technology. You did answer my questions on the life expectancy. The other questions I have of that is, how are they, the laptops or Chromebooks being updated? Are the students responsible for updates?
No, school districts.
School districts, so you
Yes.
have your IT staff that's pushed out. So they would have to, how would they get the updates? Would they get it? Because the students are gonna have them home, and then once they hit the network.
Well, they're expected to bring them to school every day.
Yeah,
And we would do the updates as we do now. We keep them in the school. Let's say they may have to leave them overnight. We want to do some things. We have those charger cabinets where they just put them in.
okay, yeah.
But yes, but it will be the responsibility of the school district to take care of it.
Yeah, because I noticed sometimes when you're doing updates during the day, it's gonna slow down.
Right. Right.
Yeah, okay, so that's good. And that's beyond. Okay, and as far as that, with the laptops, are there any type of rules or behaviors that the students have to sign when they have
The parents would have to sign for them and be responsible for any cost or damage of those Chromebooks. We
Okay.
are, as part of the conversation, looking at insurance for those Chromebooks. But at this point, without any of those things being available, the financial responsibility would be that of the parent.
Okay. All right, the last question I have, you mentioned a technology audit. Can you share a little more about that? I have a question about it. Didn't know if it was a physical security audit, meaning that as far as information technology, are you looking at securing like server rooms? Or is it more of an administrative thing as far as standard operating procedures, how you do your business every day?
All of the above.
Okay.
We're looking at internal infrastructure. We're looking at cable lines that run through the district, building to building, out to our, through our service out to, let's say Comcast or whomever provides. Why connectivity is not working, let's say in a building, and then right next door in that classroom, they don't have connectivity, it's down, and you go right across the hall, it's working. I mean, there are a litany of things that need to be done across the board. And we're trying to find answers to why certain things are happening during the course of the day. So what we've asked them to do is to be very thorough. Everything I've said to you, we put it on the table. Plus they've asked us questions, do you want us to do this or that? So at this point, we're looking at A to Z.
Okay.
We
So
want
it's
to be
like
very thorough.
a site
So-
survey where they come out and.
Yes, they're gonna come out. We want them to interview teachers, those people who are in those classrooms who are identified with some of these issues. Talk to our vendors as to why certain times it just shut down. We can't find the problem internally, and then a lot of times we find this externally. So there are a litany of issues that we're dealing with at this point. Based on my conversation and our internal team, we met with them briefly, and the proposal that I saw thus far is very, very thorough. That's why we would like for them to come in, do a presentation for the public and the board. And if we have any questions to ask them, but I think at this point, they're going to cover quite a bit.
Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Oates.
Thank you.
No, Mr. Oates. Is there anybody else in the waiting room? No?
There's a young lady.
Yes, can you just come back and sign for us, please?
Okay.
Mhm.
Would you like me to sign afterwards?
Yes.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jacqueline Buck. I'm the one who started the petition. I wanted to talk a little bit about why this petition was started to begin with and why it's turned into something that's just become super vulgar and aggressive, and I don't really think it had to get to that point. And I wanted to ask about the emails that I had sent originally when I was just trying to donate to the schools and if the fire marshal had responded. I had done a little bit of research. I had actually spoken with teachers when I had first went for my son who had started in the preschool early intervention program. See, I have one son in kindergarten and I liked the school and I brought Acklin in because he has special needs. Well, I had brought him in and I had talked to them about his health concerns, and the teacher informed me that summer is rough. And if he is gonna have issues, he's not the only one. And it gets really hot in those classrooms. So I said, hey, I'm gonna donate. Like, let me donate some fans. They told me to talk to Ms. McBride. I did. And now I reached out to you guys. I've gotten a lot of backlash. I've gotten a lot of aggressive messages, people threatening my children. I'm trying to do good by the school. I did my research. I saw the HVAC program for the high school. I saw the HVAC program for school 5. I see that it's still not have any responses received. My question is okay, if the HVAC AC program can't happen right away, if the funds aren't there, why can't we address the electrical issues and do the fans instead of making them sit there? Because when I had asked Ms. McBride and other teachers in the school, they said that they can't cover the windows because the police need to be able to see in. They can't use fans for little fingers. They can't use fans for electrical reasons. What other options are there for these kids? I'm actually very concerned. I don't even think I'll be able to send my son. And I know other parents have reached out to me about not wanting to send their children for health reasons. They talked to me about this. I got a lot of messages about it. And the comments were shut off because things were getting out of hand. This was supposed to be something good for the children, and that's why I'm coming to you. I mean, I'm still waiting to see what the fire marshal has to say about donating the fans.
May I intervene at this point?
Sure.
Did you get my email? I responded to you about the fire department.
I had not received a response in regard to the fire marshal.
I
no.
sent you one.
Okay.
I did respond.
Did he say anything in regards to accepting donations?
No. I was asking the fire marshal to respond to the inflatable fixtures or inflatable tents that you were recommending for each of the classrooms. I also stated to you that fans were a concern of mine because particularly around little people, and since those inflatables sat on the floor, they could easily stick their fingers in. So the fire marshal pretty much said that those inflatables and fans do not meet code, and they would be very, very uncomfortable with those kinds of inflatables in the classroom for a lot of reasons. The texture, whether they're flammable, any inflatable, if they deflate while children are inside. I mean, there are a lot of safety concerns with it. I also spoke to the fire department about, why, and of course, they went on to say, just based on their review of the information you sent me, they do not meet code at all. And having them in the classrooms would not be safe.
So what options are there?
There aren't any options. So let me give you a couple reasons. We just put out a bid for air conditioning for schools 5 and 6. Not one company bid it. On 2 $6 million projects, not one company submitted a bid. Why? Because the tariffs that are now imposed would put them in a position whereby they put in the bid, let's say for the $6 million, they can't get the equipment. And when the equipment comes, it may be much, much more expensive than they anticipated. So now they have underbid a project that they would have to eat and pay more just to do the work and be underpaid. So we anticipate that any air conditioning projects that we have will probably go unbid because of the uncertainty. Window units is not even an option. You're talking about cost efficient. We either gonna do central air in our buildings or none at all. We're talking about over 1,000 classrooms, and to put window units in 1,000, not only will we have to upgrade the electrical and it's just not cost efficient. It's just not an option. So at this point, we have tried to do as much as we could without going to this community to ask for an increase in taxes or to do a referendum. We have always been cognizant of taxes being raised, particularly now. The other issue that we have at this point is that we continue to try to do all of these projects using our operating budget year after year after year. So at this point, we do not have any immediate solutions to that situation. We just gonna have to do the best we can. And even with schools 5, 6 in the high school, we have no idea when these projects will be addressed. COVID knocked out the high school. We started at $6 million. That high school project is now $17.5 million. These $6 million projects at schools 5 and 6, after these tariffs, we may be looking at $10 million. And each time the price goes up, it takes us a little longer to generate those funds without going to the community, asking them to raise taxes or going out for a referendum, because we are cognizant and sensitive to taxes being raised under these conditions. There are no other options at this point, but I wish I had a solution, but we have no other solutions at this time.
So can I ask the permission to continue a GoFundMe to donate specifically to certain schools individually to try and get us a little bit more funding for the children?
You don't need our permission, and the district wouldn't give you permission to establish a
I
GoFundMe.
received a phone call from the municipality, so I had spoke to them, so they told me that I need to follow up with you guys. Somebody called me from the municipality.
We do not get involved in GoFundMe in terms of on behalf of the school district. No, we don't do that. That's not something we get involved with.
All right, well, thank you for your time.
Is there anybody else? Oh, Ms. Buck, can you? Yeah. Is there anybody else, or does that conclude?
I'd like to speak.
Hi, I'm Justine Myers. I live in Cedar Brook. Now, to piggyback on what Ms. Buck said, back in 2020 during COVID, there was a grant or something that happened where the school systems were given HVAC or work done to their ventilation systems. Now, that was labeled as HVAC. So where did that go?
It went to upgrading all of the heating systems throughout the school. It also gave us an opportunity to bring in clean air systems in each of the classrooms. That's where part of that money went, to upgrade air circulation in all of our schools and to upgrade any of those units in the buildings that are now providing heat, to make sure that we had proper air circulation. As a matter of fact, we had every unit ventilator in all of our schools received an upgrade so that we can ensure proper air circulation.
Okay, and does that go, that could be ran as kind of like even in your home where you just set on the fan to like ventilate air. So there's some type of airflow that could be happening in the classrooms, right?
Right, and we were able to do that, yes.
Okay, because when you're in there, it doesn't feel like anything's moving when it's hot.
Okay.
Yeah, so I wonder if maybe we could talk to, like, have a heating and air person come out and have them, teach them how to control what they do have in their house,
Well,
in their system.
Yeah, we have not only our own people on staff, we have outside vendors coming in, working with us. And at this point, the circulation has met the state guidelines. However, when you have a hot day and it's humid, there's very little that you're going to be able to do with the present system.
So I guess the other question would be, because it wasn't clear, okay, so did the fire marshal say you are allowed fans as long as they're up high?
No, the fire marshal has been very clear on fans itself.
Okay,
We have allowed our teachers to bring in fans, but they have to make sure that the cords are not in
okay,
the egress, et cetera, where people are in and out of those buildings for any purposes. And it has to be away from the children, because in most cases, you know, somebody gets curious and stick their hand in there.
right,
So
correct.
fans are not encouraged. However, on a very hot day and you put a fan in there, it's not going to cool the room. It's just going to move that heat around.
It gives them relief, yeah.
If that's a solution, but I would have to make sure that before we just arbitrarily tell all the teachers, just bring in your fans, just go. I would have to make sure, because safety is our priority, and we have to make sure that before we entertain any type of electrical device in the classroom, it has to meet all safety and fire code regulations,
Proceed with common sense, basically.
without question.
Okay, so now with the budgeting, I know with the threat of the tariffs right now could be putting things on hold. Hopefully it doesn't last forever. But when I saw your budget for the year roll out, I don't understand why other priorities are taking precedence over,
Such as what?
such as the air conditioning or anything.
We have
When
three,
it comes to education, our teachers, we're losing teachers, like,
not
what are
because
they,
of,
75% staff?
well, I don't want to debate the issue because
No,
I
I'm
think
not
I've made
debating.
myself clear.
Yeah,
But I think I also said that we have three schools where the money is already set aside.
right.
have those schools
Yeah, I
added.
understand this is
So
a
I'm
long
not-
progress.
Right,
Yeah.
and I'm not understanding what you mean
When
about
I
the
saw the
budget.
budget, well, okay, so is the building that's going to be at the high school for athletic, is that storage or an athletic
Storage,
storage?
storage, yes.
And how much is that going to be spent?
800, around there.
800?
800, yes,
Thousand?
yes, 800, right.
Okay.
Right.
What size building is that?
I don't know the measurements, but it's pretty big. And one of the reasons, we have about 20 or more athletic programs, and we have equipment all over the place.
Right.
And we have to store that equipment for a lot of reasons. One, so it can be maintained from year to year.
Right, yeah.
So that we can have a place that's specified for each of those individual sports. And we are in a position where we can do that now. And again, that was a project that we had put on our long-range plan, and now we're in a position to financially do that.
Okay.
Let me point out something else to the community, because I think it's important. We are probably one of the few school districts, not only in South Jersey, but in the entire state, that we're using operating funds to do all the work that we have done. Just to think, we set aside $17.5 million to air condition or HVAC equipment for the high school, $6 million for school 5, $6 million for school 6, and the barn. And we have not gone out and asked for one additional dime in taxes or referendum.
Right.
We believe that we are looking at our budget and our operating funds and doing the best we possibly can. So at this point, to look at our present budget and say that the district should be doing more, I don't agree with that.
Yeah,
at
I
all.
wasn't saying that. I was saying maybe different priorities.
Well,
That's why I'm questioning.
right. Well, we, based on what I have been able to gather from this community as well as my leadership team, we have prioritized those projects that we thought was most important, particularly those schools that had second floors. If you're in any of the buildings that have 2 floors, you know the second floors are usually the ones that have the most difficult time when it comes to heat.
Yeah.
And we have already done the things we felt necessary to address those issues. So at this point, I'm not sure what else you can ask of us in terms of budgeting and being good stewards of our tax dollars, because I think we've done the best anyone could possibly ask of us without asking the community for any additional money.
I would say the only thing to be asked of is maybe, the prices seem, I mean, a little astronomical, or if you look at like silly things like, the busing and the parts. If you go online and look up that part that bus needed, it's only like $100, but then yet you guys pay $5,000 for that one part. So is there a way that we could get better bidding or better quotes on things? Maybe save a buck here and there, so then when you do have your, it's just a thought.
Yeah, we're controlled by the public school contract law. When we go out to bid, anything over a total cost of $44,000 can be bid. It's a competitive bid.
Okay.
And if you meet the criteria and the technical specifications, we are mandated to award to the lowest price if they've provided a responsive bid that gives us what we seek. Between anything under $44,000, we get 3 quotes every time.
Yeah.
I think it goes down to a couple $1,000s before we don't have to do quotes, but that middle part, we get 3 quotes. In every situation, we're required to do that and maintain them.
Okay.
So in every situation, they're always looking for to either bid at the lowest price and award to a responsible bidder,
Right.
or get through 3 quotes from on the minor things and still try and save some money.
Right. Now, is that public information?
Absolutely.
Like with the roofing and all that, like, is it all?
It's advertised, the contracts are publicly bid,
Okay.
anybody can come in and be the qualified bid for them. The other bidders ask to see what everybody else bid, including the, who are in competition with them. We deal with that all the time. We don't have any this month, but you'll frequently see those types of matters under section Roman numeral 14, Open Public Records Act request. We
Yeah.
get those requests all the time.
Okay, so the big part would be online, and this is just the breakdown. Okay, all right, well, thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
If you would, and then sign down here because.
Anyone else on the? All right, looking for a motion to close public comment?
Young lady.
If there's something that.
Ma'am, if you're gonna speak, I'm sorry, but you have to get up and give your name and town of residence, please. And then come sign when you're done.
I actually wasn't really gonna speak about it.
Want to pull down the mic? Thanks, thank you. Appreciate it.
My name is Sheree, I'm from Winslow Township. I had something I wanted to touch on, but it's kind of personal, so I wanted to know if there was another way that I could touch on it without speaking in public.
You always go to the building principal or administration right there.
Well, is it something that is school related? Have you spoken with the building principal? Then the next thing to do is to speak with either Dr. Carcamo, who is the assistant superintendent.
Thank you.
And I would be the next person if that situation is not resolved, but I'm confident that your situation can be resolved through Dr. Carcamo. And of course, we would always include the building principal back into the issue because that's where we will go to find out what the concern is. We do not discuss personal issues in a public meeting.
Right, that's why I
Yes,
wasn't even gonna
okay.
stand up, because I wasn't even gonna bring it up.
Okay. But reach out to Dr. Carcamo before you leave and we'll try to assist you, right?
Okay, thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. Do you
Okay.
still need me to sign?
Yes.
Anyone else on the public comments? Board members, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn public comment.
Peterson moved for approval to adjourn public comment.
Can I get a second, McManus?
Yes, sir. Second by McManus to end public comments.
Motion was moved by Ms. Peterson and second by Ms. McManus. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Will there be an executive session?
No, sir.
No executive session?
No.
Folks, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out. I'm looking for a motion now to adjourn this board meeting.
Peterson moved for adjournment of this.
Second,
board meeting.
McManus.
Moved by Peterson, second by McManus. Meeting adjourned. Once again, thanks everyone for coming out tonight.